Hey there, guys and gals. My name's Wolf, and welcome back to Battle Brothers. So, you might have noticed that we are in a different place, different city, C Markfez, and we have a whole new map and a whole new roster of Battle Brothers. Cause it looked like we had a little bit of an issue with the save file. Sorry about that. That's completely my fault. Basically, just exited and thought I did a quick save and I didn't, but that's besides the point. So we're in a brand new map, a whole new generation, randomly generated. As we can see, we got whole new houses. We got Herrick, Steinwall, and Horn. So basically Herrick, it looks like they are a house that's revolved around a religious cult that teaches compassion towards their own and zealous unforgiving towards others. So guess they dealt with the orc invasion a long time ago, and so they're kind of just secluded and kind of do their own thing. These guys, Steinwall, live a lavish lifestyle, price to be paid, so half-starved cattle. Okay, so it looks like they're trying to recover from that. And Horn, secluded behind thick doors, barred windows. And so we got a lot. It looks like we got a lot of these houses that are just kind of secluded and seem to not really like anybody else. They aren't very cooperative. Especially when they greet with open arms as well as crossbow bolts. So we'll see how that goes. But there's still more updates. They were talking about endgame stuff in a few of the weekly updates that they post on Steam or their site. It's always on Fridays, I believe, and the last one they're talking about how during the end game you can kind of play how you want. You can kind of keep going indefinitely if you really want to after these big kind of end game events happen, or you can kind of create goals. There's ambitions, but now there's also what you could, I guess, retire and have all these different things, and you could have depending on how your mercenary group was, and if they're successful, if they're well known, if your mercenaries were high leveled or had basically experience and whatnot. I guess the endings, quote unquote, are different. We'll see how that goes. It was just kind of a brief description. But so this is the randomly generated map. As you can see, this one's not a little similar to the one that we had before, but I've had some that were vastly different. That's pretty cool how this is just its own island city, and of course the only way you're going to get there is by boat. And then we have this whole eastern front unexplored, maybe Badlands area, and you can see down here it's more coastal to the south, and we got some mountain ranges. So it looks to be like a pretty medium tempered place, except like the very far north. But this looks pretty interesting. So basically what I did is kind of moved up to this point, did the very beginning stuff. We're going to be recruiting maybe one or two more people. Let's see who we get. We're already at 5. You start with 3. So we recruited 2 people along the way. So why don't we recruit maybe one more. We could recruit Walter here. Why not? Let's recruit Walter. Let's hire him. Alright, so he is a caravan hand, higher max fatigue. He's also dumb, so he's not going to be getting experience as much, but he should be good. He's got actually 51 starting melee experience, so this guy clearly knows how to fight right off the bat, which is not bad. So we definitely need that for our first fight. And let's grab one more person. We could go really cheap. It's got higher max fatigue, lower hit points, lower resolve. I mean, we could try. Let's see, Torvald. You know what? Let's go it, because he's dirt cheap. He's gluttonous, and he's a refugee. Wow, he's got 52. Surprise! Yeah, I mean his HP is not great, but if we give him a decent weapon and if we can kind of keep him alive for a bit, he should be surprisingly not bad for a refugee. As I was saying before, every class has their own thing. So let's, like this minstrel here, higher resolve, lower max fatigue, and you can kind of get an idea by when you click on him. You can see how each and every background. They're random, but you could have two, like this guy's a gambler, and let's look at this guy. They'll have different backgrounds, and they can kind of play into like how they might be, and the prices are different. So everybody charges different amounts. So like there's a fair difference between this guy and this guy, but they charge the same daily rate. The daily wage is this right here. Now if you try like this guy, the Berto right here, he is a sellsword, so his stuff's going to be very high. He comes already equipped with some pretty good gear. That's basically the main spears you'll be using in the game. I think there's from my knowledge, I believe that there's a higher level one from that, but that's like end game. So yeah, like he's got great equipment to start with. Same with like this Ulfric guy, and he's a raider, so he's ex-raider. But yeah, you'll find some pretty interesting things. For example, like see how this guy's a deserter, and he's already level 2, so he comes with experience. Just like this guy, he's level 4. But being a deserter, he's got lower resolve, so he'll flee more likely. He might have different kind of random events that might play an effect, or say you have somebody who's very loyal to the law, or like a nobleman, for example. Their characters might actually kind of butt heads and whatnot by random events. So it's pretty cool how that happens. Okay, so yeah, we're in this building. There's a few buildings still locked, like this Veterans Hall, because it's early access. Again, should be out of early access soon. I'll update you guys when we get more information on exact dates. Okay, yes, we're good with men. Why don't we see if there's anything? Let's grab this shield, or rather it's a buckler, so it's just a small little thing. It's better than nothing. Let's give it to Walter. Torvald needs a weapon. That's kind of important. Yeah, let's give him the militia spear. Why not? I'm gonna take this shield off the fisherman. Gotta have a net with the fisherman. Just makes sense. Give this guy that, and we are pretty much set to go for our next fight. So let's see where it's located. It's alright. It's located all the way down this city. So movement, you just basically click, and again, where you are on the map, as I was saying before, it affects your movement. So we're on the roads, so obviously you're going to be going faster than trying to trudge through these marshes. So like for example, if I go and I like try to cut through a little bit, you could see you just get stuck through. But yeah, why don't we take the roads? But say if you're trying to find, like raiders, or you're trying to basically hunt down anybody to, if you're trying to get experience, or you're like trying to hunt down some goblins or whatnot, usually you have to go along the path. So here, look, we got a bunch of raiders that look to be stuck in the mud. I'm gonna ignore them for now, just because we're a little bit under. That's not bad that they're just kind of stuck in there. We could have got the chance, but we only have really one guy with range, and everybody's low. Oh, we got a supply caravan. That's nice. You can tell it's got that special flag on it, so it's got to be one of the houses, and we can see their tracks. Again, at night, your vision's going to be a lot lower, so you're going to kind of be limited. You could also camp by pressing T, and that has benefits. It passes time, but also while you're camped, enemies could actually see that better, and so you could potentially be ambushed at night by a large group. But I mean, if your group's large and your group looks intimidating, you'll actually notice that like if your guys look like they got good armor and you have more reputation, and you guys just look badass, raiders and whatnot will want to stay away from you, because it'll be like, oh wow, these guys look intimidating, they have more numbers than us, or they're heavily armored, or they have a reputation. But with that comes like, if you have a good group of guys, they might eventually try to come at you with, really heavy numbers. So it's a bit of a gamble with how many people you employ. It's one of the reasons why I really love this game. All right, so we got unfinished business. This is continuation off of our little prequel here. So basically, again, the names for these guys are random, and locations, it's always random, which is really cool. But this main beginning point is that you got some more men at the nearby major city. It's the same city with this random faction that we're associated with for now. Basically tells us, hey, this guy Hoggart, who's the weasel who killed your old boss, he's so-and-so, and so they kind of tell him, we'll go rip his head off. is what our response is. And here we go. We know where his refuge is. We come in 7 battle brothers strong as we are gonna go and try to take these bastards out. All right, so nice thing as well is that you can kind of get a sense of, before you go into battle, like what you can see. You get a sense of the terrain. Flatlands, probably not going to be many hills, not a whole lot of cover, so we're just kind of have to, it seems like we're going to basically bum rush them. Also, where you are on the map will play into effect. You know, you fight in a heavy forest, you're going to find a lot of trees, and you know, you got to kind of plan accordingly. So we're going to take the high ground. It helps with our aim. We're hover over. We see we got a 6 to 1 chance because we got height advantage, but we got a little less because we got a distance of 5. So Otto here, it's gonna take a shot and fail miserably. I do like the effects of, like, if you miss or weapons break or whatnot, they are on the map, just like little things. But if it's a weapon intact or a shield or whatnot, you could actually go and pick it up. It'll cost action points, but I do like that little side that they do. Also, you could end your turn because it's turn-based combat, so you know it's your guys, and there's by each character, not by a whole team, and that's done by, I will show you. It's your initiative, basically your speed, if you will. Everybody has initiative, and so it plays an effect of every character on the field. Your guys, enemies included. You could potentially have. I've had fights where there's like 3 or 4, or like 3 factions where like it's your guys. I've had fights where I've had one, and this was very rare. But that was I had my own group. I had assistance from a lord where they had a small army of like 10 guys. There was like raiders coming in, and then there was goblins, and it happened all at once, and it was just mayhem. But that took a long time, as you can imagine, because it was something that was like allies like 50, and then enemies were like 40 something. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait turn. Basically, it lets other people go and puts that character at the end of the list. It's a good way to keep those action points and kind of be strategic about it. So that's why I'm going to move Walter up here. I'm going to hold the line. And now we know we've got a crossbowman here. So that's a little dangerous. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hold. Usually, I play a little bit more defensive. You do have to be careful bunching up because, you know, if you have enemy archer or crossbowman, they love to see big crowds of people. We're just going to end his turn and not waste the 3. Because they also have to use their stamina, their fatigue rather, to get up to us. And so that builds over time. So you just kind of have to pay attention to everybody because people get tired even just running up to the enemy, and you know that extra bit of fatigue might have saved their life. Yeah, so we're gonna move Taustig here. We're gonna hold Heinrich. We could move him up, but then as you can see, he'll have 3 left. He won't have enough to do any damage, and then he'll just kind of be left sitting there, just like, well, just everybody come hit me because I'm just used all my actions. So he's gonna wait here. Yeah, same thing for Walter. What I could do is try to go for a little bit of a flank. Torvald, let's move him up. Let's give pressure to this marksman. Let's reload and let's pop a shot. And nothing. So beginning of the game, nobody really has skill. Ooh, nice one shot this guy, and Hoggart's already getting a little freaked out. I'm gonna put the pressure on him. But yeah, so what I was saying though is, you know, especially early game, like your stats will get better and you can upgrade, and when one of our guys levels up, we'll show you how that all works. Yeah, so let's move Wildrick right here. Let's give him a stab. Looks like it just hit his armor. So what he just did is he riposte. So basically his guy is going all defensive. He's riposte and shield wall. Shield wall, he's bringing up his shield. The shield has to be large enough to basically cover your body. So like a buckler, you can't really do anything. But anything bigger than a buckler, which Walter here has, can do a shield wall. Great defensive. Basically, you're just trying to take hits with that shield. And riposte, so what he's doing is with swords in this game, you can basically kind of anticipate attacks. So if you dodge an attack or block it, you can kind of come back for a counter attack. And every weapon has a secondary. So like for example, we have this flail. It's actually, yeah, it's a wooden flail. It's a form of agricultural tool actually, which is pretty cool. It's rather unpredictable, and so what this likes to do, it's like the version before you get with the like chain flail, you know. So the whole point of this is that it doesn't have high accuracy, but it can kind of reach around shields, and it's a little bit random. I'm only using this because, you know, we found it on the ground in that first, like, very beginning prequel. Ooh, and he's got an injured shoulder. So that's something a little bit new with the injury system, which has, that's just a temporary effect, but you could eventually get permanent effects and whatnot, which can be pretty entertaining. Like sometimes, like there might be like someone has got their like nose cut off, and you could see that they'll be disfigured. It's pretty cool. We'll see that as we kind of go along. Well, hopefully not. All right, so what we did is we cut his arm sinew. Oh boy. So Torvald's hurting because he's got a crossbow bolt on his shoulder. Let's have Walter put the pressure. We're just kind of trying to run this guy down. And you know what, Torvald, I'm gonna move you back. All right, let's try to whip him. There we go. And Walter's quicker than the crossbowman. Comes in and with one slash with a short sword decapitates this guy in a gruesome fashion. Glorious. Walter, come on back. Alright, now we could take a shot. It would be really dumb. He's got his shield up. We have our allies in front of him, which, trust me, you can shoot your friends. It's not fun. And you feel like a dick when you shoot like somebody really important. And I'll admit, I've had to do a couple of the quick loads and load back to previous save, because you know I don't mind it, you know, if somebody dies or whatnot, and if especially, you know, you try and they die in battle, it's fine. But you feel worse when it's like, oh, I accidentally clicked to shoot into a huge group of guys when I shouldn't have. Oh man, that's happened. So you just have to be cautious about that. All right. So what we could do, let's move Tustic here, and let's just crack his shield, just destroy it. All right, he's going defensive. So what we could do, let's hold off for a sec, and let's just move Otto over here. All right, Tobal, you have a spear, so that means you have a higher chance to hit, and he's surrounded, so that helps us out. Spear him. There we go. Nicely done. So yeah, injured shoulder, so it'll heal in 3 to 4 days. He does a little bit less damage. Injured muscle to the shoulder makes it hard to put any force into strike. So his arm's hurting, but he'll live. And it doesn't look like it's permanent damage. Wow, we got a mail shirt, even though it's patched like right at the beginning. So we got lucky with that weapon. I mean armor, which we'll put on somebody right away. Okay. Hoggart lies dead in a pool of his own blood, skewered into a grotesque and panicked pose. He didn't weasel his way out of this one. You put a boot on his corpse and look at your men. For the company, for all the men who've fallen. Otto spits on the dead man's face. Let's take this bastard's head and get back to Strade. It's not a cheerful mood that the men are in, but it is a content one. Like a blue horizon glowing before a fiercely rising sun. The deed is done and the company avenged. In this world, that's about as much closer as anyone could get. So, time to get paid. Let's move on back to Strand. Again, apologize if I butcher these names. Just like Darkest Dungeon, I have these names. It's, I guess, you know, being a Chicago boy and just kind of screwing things up and whatnot. Feel free to laugh at me. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. The best I can do. So got him on cabin. He nods as he speaks his mind. Basically, he's just. This is also the prequel text and whatnot. This always happens. So one of your soldiers will just say, "Hey, you know, make sure to keep your equipment patched up because we kind of need it." Yeah, let's give Wildrick here the patched mail since he's kind of our leader. So you can see these are the three. These are the founding members. These are kind of like the companions, as they're called. These are kind of like so you play as the captain. You don't actually you're not in the field, because the whole point is like you got hurt in that initial fight, and so now you just kind of watch and order everybody around. So these three, they're random, but you always have three. Like you always have one that's a ranged kind of guy. You have one that's always more focused on the shield wall, like a spearman, or it could be really whatever. Just a good all-arounder. And then you always have somebody who kind of focuses on heavy weapons. Again, their traits are always different. But yeah, so like those are kind of like the three friends that you have. It's a shame, but yeah, they may die. It happens, but you just kind of have to keep moving on, because that's the life of a mercenary. So we have a little bit better armor. Why don't we? He's already rocking a 50. Let's give Walter padded surcoat, cloth mantle padded with wool filling. So I do really like this game because, like, in the beginning and whatnot, it's a big deal if somebody has chain, and even though this is like old, really shitty chain, it's still a lot better than, say, like a leather tunic, which is just a leather vest and cloth on top of cloth tunic, or like a thick tunic. So like you're dealing with guys with like heavier cloth clothes and whatnot, which I really like that they have kind of this realistic sense of like not everybody's walking around in plate mail. You might find that later, but it's very rare, very expensive, and you have to be buff as hell to even do anything with it. So I do really like how they implemented that. Does anybody have any decent range? Yeah, I kind of want to leave that. No, he's got a 40. I may have Henrik the Fisherman be another crossbowman, because we could use that. Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's give him a backup hatchet. It's always good to have a backup weapon for one of these guys. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch that. Take that out. So let's give Otto that. I like to just make sure the three companions have the best gear possible. I always try to make them be the stars, as it were. Okay, let's head back. Yeah, that was a good little thing. Company returns as victors, their heads held much higher the last time visit. The wolves are not the size that they once were, but it's still a force to be reckoned with Hoggart the Weasel learned too late. You carry his head in a sack, and then you empty it in front of Erwin at Stride's feet. As it rolls towards him, he takes a step back, momentarily startled, only to approach again with curiosity. So it really is him. Yes, I'm rid of him. Erwin of Strade rubs his hands, his face turning into a grimace of cold satisfaction. Not speaking a word, his eyes glued to the weasel's frozen and slack-jawed gaze, he clasps his hands for his servants to fetch the crowns and pay you as promised. You raise your voice to your men. As long as there is blood coursing through our veins, as long as we can hold sword and shield in hand, there shall stand the wolves. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. We'll make this company known throughout the land. The men cheer. Waldrick puts his hand on your shoulder. You did well, Captain. Whether we travel from one village to the next and look for work, or head out to explore or plunder on our own, the men will follow you as brothers in battle. As brothers. Okay, so that's basically the tutorial. They make it very open. You do this initial thing, and you're like, well, figure it out. And I do really like that it's you can kind of go in however you want. There's not a whole lot of, like, say, trying to sack villages or whatnot. Now, I've noticed there is occasionally, rarely those sorts of things later. And again, doing stuff like that has ramifications, but you definitely kind of play more of stereotypical, like, mercenary group going out and, escorting caravans or take out these bad guys here or whatnot. I'd like to see more of that, like more variety that, like, you can kind of be more raidery, I guess. But we'll see how that goes. So let's see what we got. I got cloth rolls. That's worth 140. We could sell for 160. Let's hold on to it and see if we get anything else. If it's worth a little bit more somewhere else. But we're probably going to get that price. Let's buy some tools. Maybe not. Let's buy some food. ground grains. Yeah, basically it's gonna be tasteless food. Yeah, as I was saying before, there's a lot of different types of food. They all have their own descriptions, and they all have different amounts of spoil time. So like a smoked ham, this will spoil in 12 days, but dried fish will spoil in 8. Get fish. And again, where you are, since we're on the coast here, fish is going to be a lot cheaper than trying to say buy it maybe in Elkshore or God, see these names. I love these names, but I just can't pronounce them. Hazengard? That's a shame. Okay, well, that's so much for our first fight here. We got some peasants. So yeah, basically also with this game, there's going to be a couple edits. If there's long walk time, because you can see how far away this city is. Like it'll take a full day in game to travel to some places, and it's just how the maps are generated. But yeah. So other than that, we're going to be continuing with Battle Brothers for a bit. We're going to be bouncing around between Battle Brothers and Darkest Dungeon, so it might be a couple of videos here and there kind of bouncing through. Also, with the scheduling, as I was saying before, it's just, I'm in the process of trying to get a different job. Oh, shit, we got raiders. Well, you know what? We're going to leave that as a cliffhanger for the next episode. Sorry about that, folks. All right, guys. My name's been Wolf. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like, comment. If you want to subscribe, I would appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, great. I do appreciate any help and support, especially with a small channel like this one. But, if you don't want to, no big deal, no pressure there. But I do enjoy your company, and I hope you had a good time. And I will catch you later. Take care.